All right, welcome to the Homestand Sports Pod. I'm Albert Vartanian. On the show today, lots and lots of NFL. We'll be joined by our homegrown NFL expert, Justin Pooney, is going to join me. We're going to talk about a few things. I found this prop when I was looking at NFL futures the other night, and it was first QB to lose starting job non-injury. And there's some interesting odds on there. Russell Wilson, 50-1 to lose his job first out of all the QBs. And I think there's a case to be made that he can be one of the guys to lose their job. We'll talk about that with Justin Pooney. We're also going to play take for take. Basically, he's going to have 3 takes heading into this NFL season. I'm going to have my own takes. We're going to talk about it. We're going to throw it out there. Some are hot. Some are not so hot. Some are kind of cold. I'll give you one right off the bat. The Jets destroy the Denver Broncos in Week 5. Yes, not the hottest take around, but listen, Sean Payton has put a big bullseye on the back of the Broncos' back, and I think Rodgers and the Jets are going to take care of business against them. So I got Pooney coming up just after this intro. Don't forget, we'll be releasing these pods twice a week on Wednesday and Friday, hopefully starting at the beginning of the NFL season. We'll go to 3 times a week, Sunday, Tuesday, and I think Thursday, so the pods will be ready the morning after. But without further ado, let's start the podcast. I'm Albert Vartanian. This is Homestand Sports. All right, well, here he is, our NFL expert.
Wow.
Justin Pooney. How do you feel about that, being called the NFL expert?
Yeah, I'm going to print up a whole bunch of business cards and start handing them out to people that says Justin Pooney, NFL expert.
But how do you feel about the expert tag at the end of Justin Pooney?
We already know that.
Hey? You truly feel like you're an expert?
I mean, I've been watching film the last 3 weeks nonstop, so yeah.
You get paid.
I get paid.
You're professional.
I get paid.
You're an expert.
I know what I'm talking about.
I will say this. At the homestand, you definitely are. If there's anybody that's tapped into the NFL, it's my man, Justin Pooney. Okay, I want to start with this, and I sent you this last night.
You did.
So I was going over futures. I mean, we're about, a week and a day away from the start of the NFL season.
9 days?
Right? Thursday Night Football, 9 days.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at futures. Not much value left on the board, to be honest.
No.
But this popped up on my social. It's from a sports book I'm not going to mention because I've never heard of it, and apparently it's not a very good one. Odds for first NFL QB to lose starting job, non-injury.
So it's non-injury.
Non-injury.
Okay.
At the top of the list, you got
All right.
Baker Mayfield 2-1. Not that surprising.
Fair.
Behind him, Sam Howell 4-1. I can go through all these, but a couple that popped out to me. One right away. I think Desmond Ridder, 9-1.
Yeah. Who's the
to lose a starting job.
Who's the backup in Atlanta right now? I'm trying to think.
I just had that written down. Now it's going to drive me nuts.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Taylor Heineke.
Yeah. Who has started games before, took the Commanders, or I think they were the Washington football team, to the playoffs one year.
Yeah.
Look, I think that's a good one. I haven't looking at the list right now you sent me. Look, I think Baker, you're not going to go to Kyle Trask, right? Unless Tampa has lost a bunch of games. Think about it, Albert. This year, it's kind of different, right? You know who the number 1 pick is going to be. That's Caleb Williams out of USC. Right, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. This guy's apparently, they say, he's the next generation's Patrick Mahomes.
You know where he's going, though, and we'll talk about that later.
We will, but he had some interesting comments about that. Yeah. Sam Howell in Washington. If I was Washington, right, I know he's impressed in preseason. They had a whole lot of glowing things, but I don't know. I would have taken a flyer on Trey Lance if I was them, right?
Well, if you're Trey Lance, you're like, what the hell? Even with Arizona.
But I get it. But even
send me there. I can play.
I don't think San Fran was going to trade Trey Lance within the division to see him twice.
Not.
No. Right. But look at this. I like the Ridder pick. I think I have a sneaking suspicion, and maybe it's just the Seahawks fan in me, but Brock Purdy.
I know.
At 25-1. Look, I get it. Brock Purdy's the guy. They have Sam Darnold as insurance, but he plays on the best roster, plays with Kyle Shanahan, the best system for him. But he had reconstructive surgery on his elbow, right? We don't know how well his arms are going to hold up, right? He left last time we saw him play. He had to basically couldn't even throw the ball afterwards, right? And it was a question early in the offseason what time he was going to come back, what was his timeline going to be. 25-1.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. You sprinkle a little something on there. But, yeah, I would say that's the most interesting one. The one that's kind of absurd to me is Justin Fields at 40-1. There's no way Justin Fields is losing his starting job.
That's why it's so down low, right?
I mean,
then it goes to 50-1. You got Daniel Jones, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, who also caught my eye. But I want to touch on Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
So you got the Niners. They open up at Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And then at Los Angeles, at the Giants. Or no, at home to the Giants, and the Cardinals probably win there. But those first 3 games, that's not a guaranteed 2-1 start.
Sorry, it's the Rams they play this week too, right?
Yeah.
So that's a divisional game. Of course, Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan have a bit of a rivalry. They go back and forth. Now, we know the Rams are not going to be that good this year. But that first game in Pittsburgh is a team that, if they were in any other division in the AFC North, they could be a lock playoff team, I think.
I don't know how I feel about Pittsburgh. They're getting a lot of love right now.
They are. They have looked. But I think because Mike Tomlin is such a great coach. He's never had a losing season.
Yeah.
They have, Kenny Pickett improved as the season went along, right? And then you look at, Najee Harris. They have Deontay Johnson. They have Pat Freiermuth. They have some good pieces on the offense side of the ball. And, of course, their defense is always good with, Minka Fitzpatrick leading the charge there. I wouldn't sleep on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Tough division, though.
It is. Baltimore.
Ravens are going to be a lot better.
The Bengals, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you expect the Browns. Deshaun Watson should be better this year after, what did he have, a 10-game suspension last year? 10 games, 11 games or 12-game suspension or something like that.
Okay, yeah. So, like I said, Ritter is one of the names that popped out to me. I mean, not a great preseason. He's been benched. The owner even had to come out and, back him for support.
Yeah.
Last season, he didn't really show much. He played 4 games. Didn't really show that he can handle a starting job.
Lost his job, right?
Oh, God,
so, I mean,
and now his future's in jeopardy in Philadelphia as well.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with Marcus Mariota. I thought when he went to Philly, he would be like
Johnny Netflix now.
Yeah, he is. He got enough. Hey, with that documentary, he's probably has enough of a Netflix thing lined up.
I think
the
so.
Aftermath or whatever they're going to do. But
okay.
Yeah.
Jimmy G also popped out to me. Who knows? But I feel like he'd go down with an injury.
Aiden O'Connor, the Raiders' backup, has been very impressive this preseason. Everything they're saying is he could be, the Raiders might have found their quarterback of the future, right? He's a rookie guy coming in. But I don't think Jimmy G's going anywhere. Like, Josh McDaniel wanted him. They know him from New England. He knows the system well. He knows it operated. This is Jimmy G's job to lose. And I think the Raiders will be decently competitive this year. They have, I think Josh McDaniels has a guy that you trust. I don't know if he trusted Derek Carr enough last year. Devontae Adams is still there. Hunter Renfrow. Josh Jacobs signed a new deal. He's back. He's going to be motivated to prove everybody wrong that he is an elite back.
I feel like RBs are really going to go off this year to prove a point.
I think so too, Albert. I think this is a really big year for everybody that's playing fantasy out there. Maybe, take a look at drafting some running backs high in your first rounds because it might be that type of year for them.
Okay, let's talk about Russell Wilson. So he's 50-1 to lose his job.
Sean McCormick's guy.
There's reports out there that Sean Payton's going to have this guy in a very, very short leash. And he's going to use him kind of as a whipping boy, the fall guy, as an example for the rest of the team. And so let me look at their schedule quickly. Mm-hmm. Okay, they kick it off at home to Vegas, Washington, and then they go to Miami, Chicago, and then the schedule gets insane. Mm-hmm. They got the Jets at home, KC at Arrowhead, Green Bay, KC again, Buffalo, Minnesota, Cleveland. Those first 3 games, if they don't go 2-1, I think there's a serious chance, based on what we're hearing, that maybe Wilson loses his job for a few games.
Well, yeah, they open up against the Commanders, which on paper should be a W, but the Commanders got a ferocious defensive line with Jonathan Allen right there on highlighting that defensive line. And we saw that the Broncos' offensive line wasn't the best last year. Now, they've added some people like Mike McGlinchey from San Francisco and stuff like that. But this is going to be very interesting, Albert, about what happens going on this season with Russell Wilson. This is a guy who was, pretty much a lock Hall of Famer when he got to Denver last year. Right? If you look at what he did in Seattle, Pro Bowls, All Pros, Super Bowl, right? And last year, Albert, 4-11, 3,500 yards passing, 16 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
Horrible year, man.
He had to go back and lose 15 pounds because he was bulked up too much. He wasn't as elusive as he was. He went away from what made him Russell Wilson.
Okay, so what can Sean Payton do for Russell Wilson? What can he bring to Russell Wilson?
So what Sean Payton has to do if the Denver Broncos want, because they're tied to Russell Wilson financially now, but take what Russell Wilson did well in Seattle. Again, it's kind of hard because a lot of it was off script, but what he did best was bootlegs, getting him out in the open because he's a shorter guy. And with those huge offensive linemen, it's harder for guys to see, the shorter guys. He did that with Drew Brees. Now, Drew Brees wasn't a guy who was going to run bootlegs, but how they structured that offense in New Orleans was there were so many open, quick throws, get the ball out of his hands. Now, Russell Wilson has a problem with that because he's a guy who likes to hold on to the ball and likes to launch it deep, right? Making those slam dunk plays, those highlight plays. I thought he, in his last couple years in Seattle, he really just wanted to become a highlight machine. Because you saw Mahomes get all the love on social media. You saw all these guys make these highlight plays, and he wanted to do that. But that's not what made him successful. Get the ball up quick, utilize the run game, and play smart and don't try to force things. Last year, he tried to force things. And again, maybe that was because he got the big deal. The Broncos gave up a king's ransom to get him. But this year, if Russell Wilson has another poor year, Albert, the Broncos owners are the richest owners in football. They'll be like, forget it. We want to win. We didn't invest all this money to come last in this division.
So in comes Jarrett Stidham to take over the job?
I'm not saying they paid a lot of money for Jarrett to be the backup quarterback, right? Well, to push Russell Wilson.
One quarterback who could be available, we'll get into it, though, is Kyler Murray. I'm just saying you never know. But listen, are they going to be better than the Raiders this season? Their win total's at 8.5, which I think is high.
I could see last year was so bad. I think there'll be a
8.5.
I think they can be a 7 to 8 win team. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team because they lost Tim Patrick. They have more injuries in the wide receiver court. Javonte Williams is coming back from a knee injury. We don't know how he's going to respond from that. But their defense is elite. Their defense will still. You got Patrick Surtain, which I think is the best cornerback in football. I know Sauce Gardner gets all the love. But
well, if you play for the Jets, you get all the love.
If you play New York, right? And I think Patrick Surtain is probably the best cornerback in football. I love Sean Payton as a coach. I just don't know with the injuries that they've suffered already this year with Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, and stuff like that. It's going to be tough in that division. Because you got to play Mahomes twice. You got to play Herbert twice. You got to go play the Raiders twice.
And Payton already shot himself in the foot by calling out Nathaniel Hackett.
Exactly.
Infuriating the Jets, which we will also get into. But I just love this prop. First NFL QB, lose starting job.
It's interesting.
Non-injury. Yeah, Russell Wilson, 50-1. If you have this sports book, go out and find it. It's not that hard to find. And then place a bet. If you don't get your money,
you know what? Even
I told you so.
Tannehill, maybe if
Tannehill.
They fall below the wayside. They could go to Malik Willis doesn't look bad. They also have Will Levis, too, that they drafted this year.
Then you got Geno Smith down there, Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins, all 41. Those guys are fine.
In Geno, we trust.
Those guys are fine. They're not going to lose.
Absolutely.
They might. Who knows? I mean, maybe later in the season, but first QB.
First QB
to lose their starting job. Okay, let's get into this game I came up with. Quite the game.
That was.
It's just who knows? It's called Take to Take. Take to Take or Take for Take? Let's go Take for Take.
Take for Take.
So me and Justin have a couple of takes ahead of this NFL season. Instead of going let's predict each division and this, that, and the other, we just talk about some takes that some not so hot, some maybe a little cold, but
warm, ice cold.
It's an honest take. And I know you want to start here with Kyler Murray. This is Justin Pooney's take. Kyler Murray will not play a single snap for the Arizona Cardinals this season. Before you get into your reasoning, let's talk about the Cardinals QB situation and Kyler Murray's status.
It is.
So day before teams are required to reduce their rosters, this was on Monday, to 53 players, the Cardinals let go of Colt McCoy, who was the backup to Kyler Murray. The problem with that is Kyler Murray is on the PUP list, which means he'll miss the first 4 games of the season, which means Joshua Dobbs or rookie Clayton Tune will be the starting quarterback. But unfortunately, Jonathan Gannon, for some reason, the head coach of the Cardinals, is saying, we're not going to tell you who the starting QB is going to be because that would be a competitive advantage to the other team. Dude, what are you saying? What competitive advantage?
The Arizona Cardinals have no chance of being competitive this year.
This is a big issue. Okay, so you're saying Kyler Murray will not play a snap for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Where's he going?
Where's he going? Well, first of all, I think it's pretty obvious the Arizona Cardinals are tanking this year. They traded Isaiah Simmons. They have their first-round pick. They have the
front office is tanking.
The front office is tanking. They have their first-round pick, but they also have the Houston Texans first-round pick this year, right? So let me put this out there. They can get 2 top 5 picks this year. They take Caleb Williams, and they can get Ohio State University superstar wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., who surely is going to be a top 10 pick this year, right? You have your number 1 wide receiver. You have your number 1 quarterback for the next decade. And this is a franchise who – the year before they drafted Kyler Murray number 1 overall, they drafted Josh Rosen and got rid of him right away to bring in Kyler Murray, right? So they've shown that they can peel off quarterbacks like it's no tomorrow, right? I'm going to say this. As for the Kyler Murray, where he's going to go next. Where's he from? The Dallas, Texas area. what is going on in Dallas. Jerry Jones is putting so much pressure on Dak Prescott, saying that we would have drafted Jalen Hurts if he was available to us. We looked at Brock Purdy, and of course they just acquired Trey Lance, right? There's pressure on Dak Prescott right now to win in Dallas. They have an elite defense. They have CeeDee Lamb, who's emerged as the number 1 wide receiver. They acquired Brandon Cooks. They have Tony Pollard, right? They have Hall of Famers on the offensive line in Tyron Smith and Zach Martin if they stay healthy. But the pressure's on Dak Prescott right now, Albert.
But if you're the Cowboys, I get what you're saying, and it makes a lot of sense. But do you want that headache with Murray? I mean, Murray's been a disaster for the Cardinals dating back to the contract where they had to put in that Call of Duty clause and basically telling him in the contract, you have to read the playbook.
Yeah.
Imagine having to tell a quarterback that and you're paying him millions of dollars. Does Jerry Jones want that?
But here's the thing. When you look at Dak and Kyler, right? Dak has all the intangibles you want Kyler to have. But Kyler has all the intangibles you wish Dak had. You know what I'm saying? Like Kyler throws a beautiful football, throws great arm,
a better run game too,
elusive, right? But he's not. But Dak's a better leader. But you're seeing right now with the Cowboys to take that next step to get to the NFC Championship game, to get to the Super Bowl. Their quarterback is kind of limited. I don't think Dak Prescott is a guy who can lead your team to, a Super Bowl. Right?
Well, he hasn't.
And exactly, he has. I don't think Mike McCarthy's the coach either. But
he's on the hot seat for sure.
Don't be surprised if Kyler Murray is available via trade if the Cardinals get the first overall pick. And the Dallas Cowboys come knocking because, look, he's younger. Again, he's injury prone, but Dak has had his injuries too, right? I think the Dallas Cowboys would be very interesting for Kyler Murray.
Yeah, and the Cardinals cannot play Kyler Murray. He's going to want to win.
Yes.
Like
he's
Jonathan Gannon is going to want to win. Buda Baker is going to want to win.
Yes.
James Conner is going to want to win. So you got to kind of trim the fat around this club if you want to tank, and that's exactly what the Cardinals are doing. It's a big issue. And so that's your take, which I love, which leads into my take, which is that the Arizona Cardinals are going to go 0-17, the first team to ever do it. I know it's crazy. 4-13 last season. They completely bulldozed the team. Kingsbury gone. GM gone.
Steve Keim's gone.
Hopkins cut. Zach Allen. Byron Murphy gone. Kyler Murray, he's toast. They just got rid of Colt McCoy.
Yeah.
Blatant tanking.
And Colt McCoy's a decent backup quarterback where you got he's been around the block for a minute and you have confidence
he can do a job, right? He can win you a couple games.
I saw a stat. The current quarterbacks on the Cardinals roster have a combined 1-for-18 record as a starting quarterback.
What did I say? It was Clayton Tune, Josh Dobbs? Dobbs was at the Colts, right? Near the end of the season?
Dobbs was with Cleveland, Pittsburgh, somewhere else.
Last season, I think he was with the Colts. Am I wrong? Anyway.
Maybe. He's been everywhere.
Well, okay, so, and then
the Titans.
The Titans,
yeah.
not the Colts. And their win total right now, 3.5. And who the hell are they going to beat? They open up against the Commanders at the Commanders. They're not winning that game. Then they got the Giants. Then they got Dallas in their first 3 games. After that, San Francisco at San Fran. Cincinnati at the Rams. At the Seahawks. Against the Ravens. At the Browns. Atlanta, Houston. Rams again. Pittsburgh.
Maybe Houston. They could be Houston.
Come on. Where are these wins going to come from with this team?
Okay,
there's a legit. First of all, they're going to go under their win total of 3.5.
I think so.
They will be the worst team in the NFL.
Yes.
And so, if you're under 3.5, you're going to be the worst team in the NFL. The take of them being 0-17 is actually not that crazy.
I mean, it's not, but there are some winnable games here, right?
Anything can be really winnable.
The Rams aren't very good this year.
This team, bro.
I'm just saying the Rams, can you name other than Aaron Donald one player in the Rams defense?
The Rams got problems.
Exactly.
The Rams got some serious problems.
The Falcons, we talked about Desmond Ridder losing his job right away.
It's true.
So, I mean, look, there's a couple winnable. I think, look.
But the thing with the Falcons, they're a bubble playoff team.
Yeah, because they play in the worst division of football. They could back.
By the time they play Atlanta, that's week 10, man. They're already in we got to start winning some games.
Look, I think 3 wins. They'll have 3 wins.
So under the win total.
Under the win total. Yeah. I think they win 3 games.
Man, I would not want to be a Cardinals fan right now. I mean, maybe you would be, actually.
Well, but here's the thing.
If you're getting the first pick.
But the thing with Caleb Williams, reports are saying that he might go back to college for one more year because he doesn't want to play for the Cardinals. I think that's stupid because the amount of money you get as a starting quarterback will blow through any NIL money you get.
It will be, yeah.
So I think, look, if I'm Caleb Williams, no matter where I'm going to the NFL because I'm going to be the number 1 pick.
All right, let's get to Pooney's take number 2. You're going Justin Fields will have 3,000 passing yards, 1,000 rushing, and 30 total TDs. Why?
It's DJ Moore. He's already had 1,000 rushing. We've seen what he does with 1,000 rushing yards, right? And I think just having a number one wide receiver, a guy you can, throw the ball to, he'll catch it. DJ Moore's that guy. He's a number one. He's a number one with a bullet wide receiver. They added, some tight ends with Cole Kmet. They also have the guy from Green Bay, Robert Tonyan, as well. So I think, look, I can see. Now I'm not saying they're gonna go to the Super Bowl like the Eagles, but I can see a Jalen Hurts type season that he had last year for Justin Fields this year, right? Yeah. Just numbers wise, I think he's got a better arm talent than Jalen Hurts. Right, he was a higher draft pick, more talented for sure, more explosive runner. Now, intangible-wise, we know Jalen Hurts is a clear-cut leader, top 3 quarterback in the league. I'm not saying Justin Fields has the talent to do so. I think, and also he has the pressure now on him because the
Fields does.
Yes, the Bears have given him every. They have Claypool. They have what's his face?
You're talking about the Bears.
The Bears speedster, Darnell Mooney. Yeah. Then they have DJ Moore. Then they have 2 capable tight ends. Right?
DJ Moore is the X factor.
They drafted a offensive lineman in the first round. Right,
revamped the whole line.
Exactly, they revamped the whole thing. Ryan Pace has done a great job with that offense, and they've rebuilt that roster. So there's no more excuses for Justin Fields now.
No.
You have to perform, and I think he rushed for over 1,000 last year, and I think that now with the addition of DJ Moore, that's another 1,100 to 1,200 yards right there. You add 600-700 more for Mooney, and
he'll be right there.
Claypool,
he'll be right there.
He'll be right there.
I don't know if I'm committing to those numbers, but he'll be there.
I think at 3,000, 1,030 total touchdowns.
Dude, I was looking at his rushing numbers from last season.
Man. He's the 3rd quarterback ever to have.
He was ahead of Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Saquon, and Nick Chubb. Yeah. QB for the Bears.
Yes.
Defense is still horrible though.
Well,
the Bears in general have problems.
They do. Now, that division is going to be very interesting in the NFC North because, look, the Lions are getting a whole lot of hype. We don't know what's going on with Jordan Love and the Packers, right?
Yeah. It could end up being a very difficult division.
Minnesota Vikings, they have Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins, which is good in the regular season, not primetime, though. But they won a lot of one-score games last year, and we know that's the flip of the coin. You're not going to win. I think they won, I forget what it was, but they won a whole lot of their games that were one-possession games.
Yeah.
That's going to change.
Well, they'll be better than last year. 3-14, they'll be better.
Yeah, they'll be again another. I think if they
7.5 is their win.
I think if they get to 7 to 8 wins, that's a really good season for them because then next year they get more cap space again, and they can continue to build forward to becoming a playoff team.
Well, the number's right there, as I mentioned, 7.5. So Vegas probably that's probably changed because a lot of people are high on the Bears and Justin Fields. That's probably gone up to 8.
He's getting a whole lot of MVP love too, Justin Fields.
He's not winning MVP. Come on, bro.
No. I'm saying
that's going to T-Law. It's going to T-Law.
Is that your take?
No take.
Okay.
Okay, my second take. This isn't even a big take. I mean, it could be. The Detroit Lions shocked the world. No, they don't win the division.
No,
they don't win the Super Bowl. They beat the Chiefs
at really
Arrowhead in Week 1. What a way to start this season. Hey, schedule makers, here's this one for you. Thursday night, open up the NFL season. Dan Campbell and the Lions go into championship territory, take down Mahomes and Kelsey.
I mean, I don't know if that's shocking.
But of course it is. It would be. First of all, the Chiefs don't lose at home.
They're 6.5-point dogs.
I know that, but the Chiefs don't lose at home. I don't remember the last time they lost in Week 1. If you go through it, it's who knows when. We might even go back to the 90s. They're dominant.
There are some pretty bad teams in the
I'm going to look it up while we chat about this, but I like the Lions. Listen, they finished 9-8 last year. They went on 8-2 run.
Yeah.
They finished
Jared Goff was on fire.
They finished by beating the Packers and sending Rodgers to the Jets essentially.
It's all dog in this month.
And I just think what a way to start the season, man. Beating the champs on their own patch.
I think Detroit's going to win this division. They're going to win the NFC North.
I can't do it yet. I'm not on it yet. I love Detroit. I love Dan Campbell so much. I was just watching an interview with him with the Cowboys' former coach. What's his name? Jason
Garrett?
Jason Garrett. Watch it. It's on the NFL YouTube.
Yeah.
Excellent. Just chat. He's such a down-to-earth guy.
Yeah, he's
you can
a
understand
football guy.
why the players love this guy so much. He's like a motivator, right?
Yeah, he's a football guy.
So I want them to win. Listen, the Lions have been bad for a very long time. Let's get them back to the top where they need to be. But I don't see them win that division.
Look, shock the world and beat the Chiefs. I can see them beating the Chiefs, right? The championship hangover and stuff like that. Now, look, Andy Reid's had all summer to prep for this game. Right. And the Lions have been getting a whole lot of love this offseason because of the way they finished the season last year. So they're kind of like the darlings of the NFL right now. People think they're going to be legit. Look, they have every right to be. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff. They drafted that running back Gibbs from Alabama. They have David Montgomery. Their offense is going to be explosive, right? They have Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive side. They got C.J. Gardner-Johnson from Philly, who's been a big addition swagger-wise to that Detroit defense.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to Mahomes, Arrowhead,
I know.
Andy
Listen,
Reid.
I'm about to tell you what the record is in week 1. It's not going to help my case. So I'm on StatMuse, and I put in Chiefs all-time record in week 1. This only takes me to 1984 and still until I have to pay for the rest of the information. They didn't lose. They haven't lost since 84 in week 1.
No way.
That has to be some sort of record, bro.
The Chiefs have not lost.
According to StatMuse,
I'm looking at this.
Chiefs all-time record in week 1, dating back to 1984, they're undefeated. It's just dubs all across the board.
Chiefs week 1 record.
Why isn't anyone talking about this? This has to be an NFL record. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Chiefs week 1 says last season.
No, but you got to scroll down. This is fantastic podcasting.
I don't even know. I can't even.
If you can, guys, Google Chiefs all-time record in week 1 all the way down to 1984, September 2nd,
Chiefs all-time
1984 against Pittsburgh. They beat them 37-27.
Record.
And they kicked off the season 1-0. That's
crazy. Let's see this here.
Unbelievable.
No, it says the Chiefs have a 34-27 record in week 1 all time.
Well, that's probably before 1984.
Maybe.
The stats that I can't see because StatMuse is making me want to pay.
61 games played. Okay, maybe.
Anyway, I'm still going with the Lions.
Okay, we'll go with that.
That's my take.
Okay,
that's my take, and
Chiefs
I'm
are gonna
be.
What is it? 27-0? You said?
Eh?
What was it? 20? What was it?
Since 84.
Since 84. Well, it's gonna be another win for the Chiefs then.
No, let's go Dan Campbell. Okay. Number 3. Your final take. Lamar Jackson will win the MVP.
Yes.
So currently, before you get into it, he is plus 1,500, which is 6th behind Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and obviously favored once again is Pat Mahomes.
Yes. I think that Lamar Jackson, I'm following a theme of chip on the shoulder and wanting to prove yourself. Justin Fields wants to prove himself. Kyler Murray might have to prove himself. Dak Prescott's got to prove himself.
Herbert's been talked up a lot, dude.
Lamar Jackson. What happened this offseason, Albert?
Yeah.
He requested a trade from the Baltimore Ravens because he wanted to get paid. He wanted that all fully guaranteed deal. Everyone was saying he was an idiot for having his mom as his agent. He was not going with the right way. He's not worth it. He's always hurt. He's this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And the third, Lamar Jackson has already won an MVP before. Lamar Jackson, since he's come in the NFL, just wins games. 75% of the games he wins that he plays. Lamar Jackson is one of the most electric quarterbacks we have in the NFL. Lamar Jackson now has Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman if he stays healthy, Odell Beckham, Mark Andrews, J.K. Dobbins. The Baltimore Ravens, excuse me.
You know it's baseball season,
dude.
The
Baltimore Ravens could be like the Baltimore Orioles and come in first place in their division this year.
It's not done yet, but yes, I hear you.
I think Lamar Jackson wants to prove everybody wrong.
Probably.
He got paid. He wants to tell everybody loves Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, your boy Trevor Lawrence, right? Jalen Hurts. Well, I'm in that conversation still. You didn't forget about me. Lamar Jackson's going to come back, and I think he's going to have a great, great season. We know Baltimore's always going to be good defensively. We know what Mark Andrews can do. We know what Odell Beckham can do if he's healthy. Last time we saw him play healthy in the Super Bowl, he was en route to become the Super Bowl MVP, right? I like Zay Flowers a lot. He's explosive. If Rashad Bateman was another first-round pick, can stay healthy. I like that. The Baltimore Ravens are a dark horse Super Bowl team for me, and I think Lamar Jackson, if this team can win the AFC North, because we don't know the status of Joe Burrow's health yet. He's been out with a calf injury, right? Now, I suspect the Bengals will be there when it matters most at the end of the season. But if the Ravens can win this division and have a top 2 seed in the AFC, which is completely possible, how is Lamar Jackson not the MVP, I think? I think Lamar Jackson, if he can reinvent Odell Beckham Jr. and stay healthy for the whole season, I definitely could see him being the MVP. He's already done it before.
So I'm with you. I think he can. I'm not saying he will. I think he can. But you go by process of elimination on this list. Okay, Pat Mahomes, best player in the NFL.
Yes.
So he's going to be up there for sure. You know that. I mean, forget championship hangovers. It doesn't factor in with this guy.
Yeah.
If he's hurt, it feels like he even plays better. You made a good point about Joe Burrow, who's second to win MVP. He's injured. How many games is he going to miss? He's still got the contract situation going on. Is he going to, milk that injury even more?
I don't see
it happening, but you have to think about that when you're betting these guys. Josh Allen, who knows about the Bills right now? Allen's going to be good. I don't even think they win that division. So I'm not going to go Allen. Jalen Hurts definitely has to be in the mix for sure. Justin Herbert. Herbert is great. I like 12-1 too. Just ahead of Lamar Jackson. Trevor Lawrence is going to be good. Aaron Rodgers, obviously, I think maybe just a bit overhyped. But listen, if Aaron Rodgers has the Jets win that division, he'll most likely win MVP. If the Jets win that division, Aaron Rodgers will win the MVP.
Rodgers, third MVP in 5 seasons or whatever?
I know.
With 2 different teams? I mean,
he's got that swag. Did you see that clip of him in preseason?
Yes. Though I don't even know who you are or whatever. Yeah.
I love that.
Look, Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know. It's the chemistry with the receivers in New York, right? That division they play.
It'll take time.
We talked about that schedule. The Jets have a hard schedule, my friend. Like, if we look at it right now, the Jets schedule, they start off with the Bills on Monday night, right? Not an easy thing. Then they play the Cowboys, the Patriots, a divisional game, the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Eagles, the Giants, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Texans, the Jets, Commanders. There's a lot of tough games. The first part of their schedule, right, can sink this team.
Probably,
right? It evens out and it gets easier at the end of the season. But if they get in a deep hole, they might dig themselves a hole too hard to get out of to be able to even win the division or even make the playoffs. And I think that's why I don't have the Jets making the playoffs, because their schedule is so hard.
It'll be difficult, but I'm just saying, if they do win that division, I think the MVP is going to Aaron Rodgers, unless Garrett Wilson or Breece Hall or Dalvin Cook goes off. But I don't see that happening. I think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. But listen, if I had to re-rank these odds, honestly, Justin, I'd probably go Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson.
Oh, you have number 2.
I'd probably have number 2, yeah. Well, I think he's that good. I think people are probably dismissing him because of what happened.
Exactly. The whole contract situation skewed everybody's mindset of him. But now that he's healthy, he's paid, he's got receivers now, I expect Lamar Jackson, and he has to now because he got paid. He owes it to the Baltimore Ravens now to stay healthy and make sure he's in the best shape for this team. Because remember, in that playoff game against the Bengals, they were on the 1-yard line able to take a lead with a touchdown, and then, of course, the fumble happened. Bengals go back. Had Lamar Jackson played in that game, I think the Ravens would have won that game. But this year, it's on him. He needs to put this team in position to be a playoff contender and a Super Bowl contender because he's too good of a quarterback not to be in that conversation.
I like that take. Here's my last take.
Let's hear it.
The Jets. Speaking of the Jets, Jets.
Yes, Jets.
Not a Jets fan, by the way. I don't have a team. It's been like that for a long time. I'm going to keep it that way.
We're going to talk about that a lot this year. How do you don't have a team?
It's better that way. It's easier to watch football.
It's not.
For me, it is. Anyway, the Jets, here's my take. The Jets destroyed Denver in Week 5.
Oh, yeah, that's happening.
Not the hottest take in the world,
that's gonna happen.
but this is the Jets Super Bowl.
That's the sporting
Sean
gods.
Payton, back in July, in case people don't remember, he's now the Broncos head coach, came out and said Nathaniel Hackett, who was the head coach of the Broncos last season, put up one of the worst coaching jobs in NFL history. He didn't need to say that.
We all knew it already.
Everybody knew it. Listen, I came on here, I made fun of the guy, and I shouldn't be making fun of these guys. They obviously know more than me.
Yeah.
But it was pretty bad. And obviously, a lot of people wanted to shit and laugh on Russell Wilson, let's be honest. Right? Let's ride. You kind of did Seattle dirty. You kind of want him to fail. But Payton came out and said that, and it wasn't well received around the league. It wasn't well received by Aaron Rodgers, who basically said, keep my coach's name out of your mouth.
Yeah.
That's a target.
That's
a target on the Broncos' back, and I feel like the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, they're going to go out in Week 5 and just absolutely destroy this team, send a message. And I also think, to tag on to that take, I think the Broncos and Sean Payton fail miserably this season, and I think a lot of it's going to have to do with him yanking Russell Wilson early.
Oh, you think Russell Wilson loses his job?
I think he's going to lose his job early. He'll probably regain it, but I have a feeling the Broncos are going to be in trouble, and I just cannot. If I'm looking at the schedule, I cannot wait to see the Jets, the Bills, this Week 1 game between the Lions and the Chiefs. But then this Week 5 game, I think, is must-watch TV.
I mean, when you look at the Broncos' schedule, it's not the hardest. I mean, they got the Raiders first, right? Then they got the Commanders, the Dolphins. Now, look, Vic Fangio's defense of Miami is going to cause Russell Wilson a whole lot of problems. I think Russell Wilson and Sean Payton need to be on the same page. And if they're not, this is going to be a long season in Denver. This team hasn't made the playoffs since they won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning.
I know.
And that's something same. The Denver Broncos are one of the best franchises historically in NBA in NFL history, right? Like, the Denver Broncos have such a great defense they're letting go to waste. They have a guy in Cortland Sutton who's a good wide receiver. They have Jerry Jeudy once he's healthy. They have all the pieces there. They only just needed a quarterback for years, and they can't find it. They thought Russell Wilson was going to be the answer.
Russell Wilson thought he was going to be the answer.
Oh, let Russ cook. Well, Russ cooked up a whole bunch of
Let's ride.
No, he can't say that anymore. That's gone now.
It's gone now? He can't say it?
Can't
Canceled?
say that anymore after that.
Cancel Russell Wilson?
No. The whole let Russ cook movement is gone now.
All right, Justin, that's it for the takes,
That's
bro.
it.
We hit all our takes. We talked some props. We talked NFL. You'll be on this podcast a ton, especially throughout the NFL season.
Can't wait.
Hopefully, we start doing some Sunday night podcasts.
Yes.
That's the plan in the future.
Boss has got to get us the mics.
Yeah, we can either do it, I think, during the Sunday night game if they're horrible,
Yeah.
or after the Sunday night game so we have a pod fresh and ready for
Absolutely.
everybody on
It's
Monday.
exciting.
Okay, before I let you go, this is probably the last time I'm going to have you on before the season starts.
Yes.
Possibly. Who's winning the Super Bowl?
I don't even know yet. I haven't thought.
Just give me a team, bro. No one's going to hold it against you until we clip it and put it out there.
I think if you were to put a gun to my head right now,
Yeah.
it's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals
Really?
facing off against the Dallas Cowboys
Come
in
on.
the Super Bowl.
Come on.
Yeah.
After what you were just talking about?
I
Cowboys?
think no, because here's the thing.
And who's going to be throwing the football for them? Kyler Murray?
I want to see Philly back in the Super Bowl.
Right.
But I think that Dallas defense, what Micah Parsons is doing right now,
I know. You're right.
but I think the Bengals win the Super Bowl. They beat the Cowboys. They beat the Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
It's an easier path out of the NFC, no doubt.
I don't trust Brock Purdy. I would love to say Seattle, but I just think that we're 1 year away from being a true Super Bowl contender.
If the 49ers had a quarterback, I think arguably the best team in
Well, they're already I think Philly's a better roster.
They're quarterback short, let's be real.
But the thing with Philly is this. They're safety. They lost C.J. Gardner. They have the Slade, Bradbury. Their safeties scare me a little bit. Can that pass rush be as elite as it was last year? Right? I know what Jalen Hurts is going to do. I know what Devontae Smith is going to do. I know what A.J. Brown is going to do. That they got the best. Philly will be fine, but I just think something weird. It's like the Leafs. The Leafs finally broke through.
The Maple Leafs, for those who are
The
listening.
Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs finally broke through that first-round curse.
What are you saying, dude?
I'm saying it
What are
could
you
be the
saying?
same.
Don't do this to
The
me.
the Cowboys and the Leafs are basically the same thing, right? The Cowboys are a much bigger and worldwide version of the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? They broke some curse, and I'm saying the Cowboys might do the same this year, and they're both gonna fail miserably after that.
I think you're crazy,
I am.
but I love you.
Okay.
Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. Plug your socials. I can't remember your social.
At Justin Pooney _ and everything.
Follow him. Comments.
Follow him, Stan.
Tell him how much you love him, how much you hate him.
Tell
he doesn't
Albert.
mind it.
Tell Albert that to pick a team this year.
No team, dude.
Dude,
No
you
team.
gotta pick a team, man.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right.
All right, thanks to Justin Pooney for jumping on the podcast today. Don't forget, you can download this wherever you get your podcasts. We'll also put the full video up on the Homestand YouTube channel. So listen, you want to download Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts will be available. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review the podcast. It really helps. We'll be back on Friday with another Homestand Sports Pod. I'm Albert Vartanian, and this has been Homestand Sports.